You probably think I'm being silly, but what can I say? It's my lucky charm. Yeah, it's borderline superstitious, I know. Don't you have anything of the sort? Well, I have good reason to be superstitious. Whenever I don't have this with me, things happen. Right. Alright, here comes the strongest espresso in the house. Cheers. Ah, perfect, as always. Are you ready to order? Might as well. I'd like something deserty, because it's my cheat day. Sure thing. Any specifics in mind? Well, I saw this video of a Spanish hot cocoa drink yesterday. It was so thick I thought it was chocolate sauce. Damn. The name also reminded me of a song, but for some reason I can't remember the title right now. You know, that sounds oddly familiar. For real? Then I'll have that thick cocoa. It's got milk and a little hot spicy kick. Okay. So, I'm going to say chocolate, milk, and ginger. Because ginger is more spicy. I think that's what it is. Here comes a cup of Spanish Sahara for you. Oh, so that's what it's called. That's what we call it here, at least. Very cool. Then, bon appetit. I think this is it. Very tasty. Thanks, Emmy. You're so welcome. So, Pops, just earlier you were telling me about your creepy patrolling experience, right? Was it in the same location where the lady's car was? Creepy patrolling experience? Well, I don't know if I should even talk about it, because maybe it's just a tad too spooky? Even for me. What happened? Tell him, Pops. It's not that big of a deal, honestly. Then all the more reason to talk about it, right? Maybe someone here will know something. You've got a point there. Welcome then, Georgie. Y'all were talking about the area anyway, right? Yup. Well, I've been patrolling there the past few nights. The street itself is fairly straightforward. It's about a half-mile round trip from the intersection and back. There's nothing much there either. A concrete sidewalk with metered parking spots, a fence here and there, and an unfinished construction site with a couple of CCTVs dotted about. No tree? What tree? There used to be a dead tree in front of the old library. Huh. Oh, that old dead tree. It was uprooted by the city back in January. Ah. The commercial community decided it wasn't really a good look. So when the city started a massive cleanup project last year, well, they simply voted to get rid of it. I see. Why, what's up? We were actually talking about it earlier, and being a decades-old landmark aside, could there be something more to the tree than just, well, being old? You think so? That's what I think after listening to Miss Riona. Are you expecting something from me, Emmy? Huh? Oh, no. I'm sorry if I crossed the line. You just seem to know a lot about it, and I don't want to mix up the facts. I understand, but I would love to hear the officer's spooky tale first, if you don't mind. Gladly, miss. I almost forgot about me there, huh? Oh, Georgie. So anyway, patrolling on that street is an easy task. Only 4 to 5 cars would park there overnight at most, which makes keeping track a breeze. Sounds ideal enough. As expected though, nothing happened the first 2 nights. But yesterday was a different story. Hold on. What a stage setup, eh? Heh. Oh, phew. There you go. Thank goodness. Sorry about that. Please continue. Alrighty. Well, it was nearing the end of my shift and I found nothing amiss. There were only 4 cars parked that night. 2 spaced across the street and 2 on the opposite corner side by side. My plan was to leave after I walk one last round to make sure everything was okay. And a reminder, you can cover the whole place in only 8 minutes. Okay. Then at the end of my walk, I took a drag on my cigarette, smug as I was about to clock out thinking 'twas another night job well done, right? Wrong. I was immediately faced with the impossible. 3 cars, 2 side by side, 1 across the street, all tires flattened. That's 12 vandalized tires for you in the span of less than 10 minutes. That is so strange. It would take several minutes to flatten just one tire. And that's if you're using the right tools, right? But that wasn't all. Oh no, it wasn't. Because that was the moment when the streetlights went out, suddenly and all at once. What? Right after that, I heard flurries of footsteps and laughter. Lucas's face! They were going farther and farther away from the scene, and yet I saw nothing at all. Oh, are you sure? Did the CCTV catch anything? The infrared actually managed to catch something, but the videos weren't clear at all, so I'm still investigating it. Jeez Louise, Pops. That's way spookier than what you told me in the car. But it's cool, though. I may be laughing now, but I almost pissed my pants there, you see. Well, whoever they were, they sure worked fast. Right? Anyway, Emmy, I think I want another drink. All that talking is making my throat dry and coffee just ain't cutting it. Roger that. What would you like? What do you suggest? How about some tea with ginger and honey? Sounds good. Can you use the red flower stuff you have as a base? You mean hibiscus? Definitely. Alright then. Red flower tea with ginger and a touch of honey. Ginger and honey. The Jahi Rosella. Ooh. One paving hut to Jahi Rosella for you. Oh, what does it mean? Jahi means ginger, te means tea, and Rosella is Roselle, another name for hibiscus. I see. A legit herbal drink. Spicy, but perfect for the weather. Good call, Emmy. I'm happy to please. If that's the case, let me join your patrol, Pops. Because I'm not scared of ghosts. Real beings scare me more. Wait a sec, kid. What do you mean by ghosts, eh? Jumping the gun a little there, ain't ya? I don't know, Pops. Maybe it's something even crazier than that. This is a really serious problem, kid. Don't joke around like that. Sorry. Interesting. You know something? No, not me. But she might. Right, the tree, wasn't it? Oh yeah, what about it, miss? It's your turn to finish your thought. I'm not sure if this can be any use at all, but... Officer, are you aware of the story behind that tree? Huh? I recall what you said earlier. People often leave remembrances around it. What do you mean by that, miss? Well, it's because someone passed away there. What? Allow me to explain. I mentioned there was once a flea market on that street, correct? Right. They called it the Fairy Market. It was unofficially settled by the transients of the community. Transients being the government's term for unregistered citizens, including all the other uncategorizable beings at the time. Fairies were a part of that. Huh? I remember learning about it. After the war, the government made its first official attempt to sort things out. Organizing equitable classifications was thought as one of the first steps towards civil peace. But it was oversimplified, inefficient, and not speedy enough. Was that all before the Vindication Act? Way before that. Many who couldn't register were basically in administrative limbo. What? That's as good as, like, not existing at all. Really? That's horrible. It was the main reason why the fairy market was created in the first place. To ensure transients' survival throughout the changing times. In more ways than one. The market had no real schedule, therefore the start of Fairy Week would be marked by flowers strewn along the intersection, just so people would notice and come take a look. Sounds kinda too low-key, no? Because it was illegal, silly. Oh, and that was exactly the problem. The market ran day and night, its format unchanging. At the same time, the economy was slowly reshaping the landscape. People started to spend more, become reckless, while the laws were still shaky at best. Then a tragic incident occurred one night. A drunk driver was speeding and went off course, striking a vendor there. And the only evidence left of the crime was that tree. Standing there was no tree before. Wait a second, what? Why did I never hear about it? How long ago was this? The accident occurred in 1959, but the market itself was forcibly disbanded in 1961. Happened before I was born, huh? Yeah, I remember everything now. It was actually quite an infamous case, wasn't it? But due to the nature of beings involved, most people couldn't help but, well, forget. Huh? We're talking about the late 50s to early 60s here. Post-war media was still quite scarce. And I remember the drunk driver was also the son of a very wealthy individual. Oh, correct. But that wasn't exactly the part that made the case so infamous. It was due to the fact that no body was ever found at the crash site, as well as the vendor being a transient with no legal ID or paper trail. As a result, the court had no choice but to dismiss the case. But there was a body, wasn't it? Just not the people one might expect. You mean the tree? Right. When semi-spiritual beings like us pass on from the physical world, some may leave specific landmarkers behind. Not all can do that, though. Us banshees don't do that. You don't? No, we simply disappear. So if I'm getting this right, the tree couldn't be used as evidence because it wasn't classified as remains yet. The witnesses were in the same boat, no paper trail. So the driver's lawyer took advantage of those loopholes. And that's messed up. Beyond messed up, Pops. I'm boiling. I'll take a further look into this more, miss. But I have a question for you. Yes? You think the vandalism has anything to do with the tree removal? I don't know. I suppose it might depend on when the acts of vandalism began. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I better get going then. It's almost time for my shift. Okay, officer. Break a leg, Pops. I'd rather not. Stay safe. Will do. I'll keep you all posted. I better go as well. Got an early shift tomorrow. There's one thing I want to confirm though, if you don't mind, miss. Yes? It's about the fairies passing and how everyone ends up forgetting about them afterwards. I really thought it was just a myth. I guess not, unfortunately. That is why there used to be the memorabilia around the tree. They were efforts by those who remembered to preserve their memory. But it wasn't enough, was it? Else we'd still have the tree. It really makes me question my memory. Are there any people I might have forgotten? Were there events I missed? It is quite scary to think about. For beings like us, being forgotten is inevitable. So no need to feel bad about it. Is that so? Oh, I didn't catch your name, by the way. I'm Gala. Oh, I'm Lucas. Nice to meet you, sir. Well then, nice meeting you. Good luck with your future auditions, Miss Riona. Thank you. See you around. Bye, Emmy. Take care. You okay? It's getting real late. I still want to talk, but if you're tired, let me know. Have you eaten? Do you want something to eat? We don't sell food here. You don't? No wonder your place is always empty. Well, just kidding, Emmy. Don't hate me, please. Well, do you have another drink, maybe? I wouldn't mind one. Nice. What do you feel like having? Something without milk, with a fresh feeling and some brightness to it. I'm also quite partial to the blue PT. Oh. Okay, I'll order some for you, may I? Sure. Emmy, could you try this mix? I saw this pretty drink in a video and it looked perfect for Our Lady. Yep, what is it? It had blue pea as a base, a lot of mint, and a splash of lemon. Galaxy Minted Tea. Here you go, miss. From the man sitting right beside you. It looks nice. Very pretty. I like it. Thank you. I'm glad you do. And wow, Emmy looks exactly like what I envisioned. You're a G. I'm happy you both enjoyed it. But man, that whole case earlier though, it was a lot to take in. Also, about the whole forgetting thing, that really gave me chills. Why? Don't you feel scared of just disappearing in the end? Because I do. And that's why I thought I finally understood you, too. I mean, the reason why you wanted to become a soprano your way, the traditional way. Oh, care to compare notes? Because I've yet to be entirely certain about that myself. Oh, now that's what you call huge pressure. But before that, can I ask a little teeny tiny question? Go ahead. What inspired you to go down this path? I mean, I may have an idea on why you're choosing the hard way, but why a soprano in the first place? Because it's been done before. Pardon? Because there was already a banshee who did it before. So I know it's not impossible. Whoa, for real? Her part was that of a sorbet aria, and she was not very well known. What is a sorbet aria? Oh, I mean she was a secondary character. Back in the early 19th century opera, sorbet arias would be sung towards the end of the second act, usually before the evening ended. Hawkers would use the time to offer their wares for the last time to the patrons, often desserts, hence sorbet aria. Oh, I see. Like, background singing at the end of the show or something. Yes, things are different nowadays because people are expected to listen to the end. The first time I heard her voice was on an old recording of a comedy opera. I was still very young back then. She was playing a confused maid role at the very end of the opera, wondering why and how people could act so crazy when in love. But despite her confusion, she thought she wasn't so odd that she couldn't find out the reason herself. It was a funny epilogue to the opera, but hearing a banshee sing such a playful and light-hearted piece, it was truly an eye-opener for me. Oh man, I bet it was. Sadly, I couldn't find any of her other works, but it always stuck with me nonetheless. So I left my commune and started trying my own. That's really cool, and brave of you to do so. I agree. I have never talked about this before. It's a bit embarrassing. Nah, don't be embarrassed. I think it's super cool. You're just feeling inspired to push yourself beyond what's expected of you, and wishing to leave a mark on this world. Is that what you think? Uh-huh. You're just trying to follow a path that has been travelled before, and that's not always a bad thing, especially for beings like us. You're just being careful yet courageous. Right? Because the path you're choosing to walk on is still difficult. Regarding leaving your mark, I don't know. I just feel maybe you're the same as me. Like, what's the point of being born if nobody is going to remember us? Right, Emmy? No comment. Aw, why do you want to be remembered so much? Why wouldn't you? Those banshees see the end differently than most. So, care to enlighten me? I can't speak for anyone else, but in my case, I was a kid who grew up in a large family, you see? Like, humongously large. Literally couldn't count all of my siblings even if I wanted to, because they're everywhere thanks to my dad. Oh. We weren't wealthy though, not even close. The money situation was always suffocating us for real, but sometimes my dad would drop by to give us some money, though it wasn't enough to cover utilities for more than a couple of months. Then he'd just leave again a couple of days later. Are you the eldest? Nope. But my older bros had already moved out by the time I hit high school. I was so surprised when my dad gave me the house after he died. Oh, which is where my mum and siblings live now. I'm sorry to hear about your father. No, it's fine. I mean, yeah, it was weird to receive the news of his death from an attorney, knowing he passed away by himself, and how it took them a week to find out. Oh, natural causes, by the way, so I mean, how did he check out with absolutely no one knowing? Where were my other siblings? What happened to his ladies? It was just so crazy to me. And I guess it just kind of haunted me. Haunted how? My life growing up filled with disappointment over him, you know? I mean, in the best way possible. My disappointment actually drove me to work hard for my family. I just vilified him in my mind, like shaking my mental fist at him. Gonna do so much better than you, sir, and all that. I see. But then I received the news that he left me the house. Like, I know he had no money. That house is probably one of the only assets he had left. So when he gave me the house in his will, all I could do was think about what went through his mind exactly. The fact that he had a will at all was probably already a surprise for you. Exactly. What am I supposed to think of that? What am I supposed to think of him? And does it matter anymore when he's already long gone? Anyway, so my older brothers came back, right? They wanted me to sell the house and divide the earnings. Wanting a slice of the inheritance pie, huh? You didn't do that, right? Heck no. It was why I left for LA. So if they really want me to sell the house, they have to chase after me. Good call. Thankfully, my youngest siblings and I are pretty tight. We're a good team. That's a relief. But that was also why I needed money fast. I needed to send money to help with my family's bills. And of course, so I could stay alive as well. That's why I ended up having to join the production house. The production house? Yeah, it was like a bunch of content creators getting together to make videos every day. I was young and naive too, you know, because it was my first time venturing to another state completely alone after all. So I didn't know better how predatory things would be. Man, this isn't going to be an entertaining story. If you're uncomfortable, you don't have to talk about it. No, it's not that. I just really didn't like that production house. But I needed the money. Someone there saw my vlogs and invited me in. And as one of the youngest there, I tried to get along with everyone. But you see, we're all creators in the entertainment industry, right? Which means we all had huge, huge egos. So naturally there was somewhat of a hierarchy of sorts. Trying to be all round helpful turned me into the butt of the joke all the time. That didn't discourage me at all that much, by the way. I mean, I also learned a lot there, not gonna lie. Still, but long story short, being tokenized sucked. The end. No disagreement there. Sorry, I swear that wasn't what I wanted to talk to you about. It's fine. I actually learned a lot this evening. I just don't want to take up more of your time. So can I ask you a direct question? Sure. Great. Would you be interested in guest starring on my new show? I realised I was being dumb the first day we met. I kind of forced my thoughts on you and was just being a general smartass. I undermined your straightforward efforts because I was jealous of your solid resolve, since everything I did was anything but. But you succeeded eventually, didn't you? And you worked hard for it. Yet, I almost ended up losing sight of why I'd been doing all of this in the first place. I went with the flow and made excuses a lot, all to justify the gain, but to what end? That's why I've been trying to put together a talent showcase for those who need extra exposure. It's going to be a small production thing. It'll be paid, I swear, and not with exposure either. Though it won't be much at first, because I don't have that much money ready to use at the moment, so... wait. This is a bit of sudden, don't you think? No pressure though. How does the show work? Well, I'm not 100% sure of the shape of it yet. But ideally, it will have like an interview at first, and then I'll record your singing, I'll bring all the gear, I'll also be doing all the editing and stuff. It's gonna take a bit of time since I still have my main show to do, but I did start my vlogging journey on my own too. So I can bet you the result will still be quality. Your show will tank if I'm the first guest. You realise that, right? If it does, then it doesn't deserve to exist. I don't care about haters, but you do. That's why I won't push you. I'm flattered, but no thank you. Okay, thanks for considering me though. Thanks for giving it a thought. Sigh. Looks like I have to go. Okay, it's nothing to do with what you said, okay? Just bad timing. Yes, I get that. Cool. I hope we can meet again like this. If you want to. Maybe? I'll take it. Thanks for your time too, Emmy. Sorry if I bored you. No, truly, it was my pleasure. Cool. Okay, I really have to go. See you around? Safe trip. Alrighty, see you, Emmy. Come again soon. I think tonight was the most I've talked in the past 2 years, and I am quite glad to hear that. Thank you, Emmy. For what? For being such a good host. I know I'm not the easiest to get along with. It's always a pleasure to have you and everyone around. Then I'll be taking my leave. I feel like I have a lot to rethink, but I'll see you again soon. And we'll be waiting. Always. Safe trip, Miss Riona, and have a good night. Phew. I think I'm done for the night. I hope everything will work out for everyone.